Hello YouTubers, this is going to be a video on the tools I use for pruning trees, in particular fruit trees, obviously on an allotment or a permaculture setting. So we've got here some secateurs, some loppers, some hand tree saws, a telescopic tree saw, a window cleaning pole 5 meters, a reciprocating saw, and some little pouches to put them all in. Okay, so let's just discuss the main types of secateurs and indeed loppers that you can get. There's essentially two types. You've got anvil style, where the blade comes down to a flat surface. Hopefully you can see that. Oops. You've got bypass style. As you can see, the blade comes, they bypass each other, hence the name. I don't like anvil style. Maybe it's just me, but you have to sharpen both sides of that blade, so that's extra work to begin with. And see, I don't know, I inherited a lot of these roll cut made in England. I mean, you know, they're classic. We never make anything in England anymore. These are obviously good quality. They're well made. But funnily enough, I read a review online about these, and apparently they were a load of rubbish, according to one guy. And I have to concur. I just find that they just cannot keep their edge at all. Maybe there's better ones out there, but I'm really not a fan of anvil pruners. These are also anvil pruners. And these are also anvil pruners. Anyway, not a fan. Much prefer my bypass ones. In terms of quality, you've got, you know, some plastic ones here. All right, they're not terrible, but anything breaks on them, and I'm quite heavy. The problem is I'm heavy-handed with my tools, and if you are, just steer clear of plastic. You know, I'm not completely anti-plastic, but I just don't think they're going to last the rigors of my activities. Aluminium casting, probably the worst of everything actually. They've got no give in them, and very easy to break them. So don't like those. These are probably stamped aluminium, that's why they feel better quality and probably last longer, but again, because they're anvil style, don't like them. These ones, these are either Felco or they're a copy of Felco, but in any case, unfortunately, again, they are an aluminium casting. I think probably most, if not all, Felco are aluminium casting. The plus side is you can replace the blade on them, which in a throwaway society I suppose is what you do, but you could always just actually sharpen them. I broke them once already, had to re-drill, I put a little screw in there, and I thought, oh, that's fine. They come with a little spring, coiled spring like that. But then I managed to bend the blades, obviously being heavy-handed, and then I put it in the vise, tried to straighten it up, and it just cracked straight away. So to be honest, I'm over these. I'm done. They're expensive as well, you know, 40 or 50 quid. What I have discovered are these style. Now, you can't replace the blades on these, but these probably should last for years. And my God, do these maintain their edge? It was ages ago I sharpened these, and they're still cutting really nicely. Downside to these ones, so these are mild steel, these are stainless. The downside to these ones, these are tenatis. The downside is you've got this leather strap, which as you can see is about to break. And you've got this spring, which if you open it wide up there, you know what I mean, fully open, and it's on the grass, and that spring often pops out, and then you've lost it. And for what they are, they're quite expensive, like 4 or 5 quid or something each. So, and of course they're mild steel, so they'll rust. Moving on to these stainless, they've got a fixed spring in them, which is what I like. That's not going to pop out of there. They've got this nice little clip like that. That's never going to break. The downside to these is they don't have a knurled grip on them like these. That's a really nice feel. It feels too slippery, smooth, and also I don't think they're made for men. They're really not. Like, they're just too small. They feel like kids ones or something. So the upshot of this is there is actually Japanese style which look like these, but they've got knurled handles. They're made of mild steel, which I kind of prefer in a way, because you can sort of, repair it if you wanted to, and they've got the clip and everything, and they're probably a bit bigger. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Probably costs about 30 or 40 quid. Right, moving on. Oh god, I know far too much about these tools. Got to get a life. These loppers, obviously you've got some classic, Hilker style, traditional. I do like my traditional tools, but unfortunately they just don't have anywhere near the power of modern pruners. Some of them have got ratchets within here, which gives you a multiple, of power, gives you leverage. These are geared, and the ratchet things look like to me like they're going to fall apart over time. I've had another pair of geared ones and they've lasted me years. The gear just gives you so much power. You can just really, really chomp through some thick stuff. Like yesterday I was, they say thumb size for loppers, but I was cutting through stuff like that yesterday, without too much problem. You can replace the blade underneath. These are Wilkinson sword. It's not always easy to replace the blade on these, but anyway, that's for your slightly thicker. So this is for anything pencil sized. This is for anything supposedly pencil sized up to thumb sized, but actually I've cut thicker. And then we move on to actual tree saws, which have sorry about the state of the blade, but they have teeth that cut in both directions. That's the great thing about it. You're hanging up a tree, instead of having to push in one direction, hard work, you just saw back and forth, back and forth. I do like again, nice traditional. This is a Joseph Bentley. Mechanisms can always fail, but to be honest, I am warming to these fold-up tree saws. This is obviously a rubbish one, but you can get Silker, which is one of the best makes out there. And it's not so. You don't always actually get a little carry case with these, which is relatively dangerous. I had to make this one. So the fact that you can fold it up and it's damn sharp. You have to just throw the blades away. You can't sharpen them. They're too hard and there's too many teeth on them. But still, great little tool for anything thicker. And then, of course, you've got this telescopic saw. Now this, again, I chose this one because it's all metal. This is a Spear & Jackson. It goes up to 2.6 meters in height. But of course, with me standing on a ladder and being relatively tall, I can probably get up to like 5 meters. Yeah, I'd say 5 meters. So that's probably, it's good enough for pretty much everything I ever need to do. I was unsure. There's several different types. You've got ones that just have the saw on and then they have a little hook, sometimes at the top and the bottom, which is essentially a Secateurs blade but fixed, and it means you can just tug it and cut little branches off. And that's neat and that's nice and simple. It doesn't have this pulley system, but I did use this the other day and it is pretty useful. When you're high up and you just want to cut a little branch off. Right, let me just untangle this. Right, very simple. And that is essentially a pair of Secateurs and a saw in one. Super sharp. All you do is unlock that. And it extends out nice and smooth. Now this, again, I love all this mechanical stuff. It's easy to repair. You can do, you can do what you want with it. All it's done is held in by a few bolts onto this shaft here, and what I actually do is I pop that off, and then I just slide it onto my window cleaning pole. And this thing, I mean, this thing's brilliant as well. I've used it for decorating, window cleaning, whatever. 5 meters long. These just undo and it just extends. Even this thing pops off, so you can have a threaded bit, or you can have a straight shaft with a little pushing pin, or you can, you know, change that to the typical decorator's cone. So I can actually take that off of there, pop that on there, and I've now got 5 meters of extension plus my height plus a ladder. So yeah, there you go. Now I do like to cheat occasionally, especially when I'm just cutting up stuff on the ground, just to sort of bag it up, and that is a reciprocating saw. I'm going to recommend at least, I can't quite see there what this, I think it's just over 1,000 watts. I've had ones at 700, no good. 2 types of blade. You tend to get green for green wood, but that's no good if the tree is dead, or you're cutting off a dead bit. For that you need a proper wood saw. Brilliant bit of kit. You can get battery ones now which are fantastic. I wouldn't bother going for a 12 volt, go for the 18 volt, the big meaty ones like this, and that way you can use it for construction work as well. And finally, over to the pouches, which I have actually used and genuinely do find quite useful. This one I think in particular, because this one can hold a pair of loppers. I'm just going to put them in and you can see. So yeah, secateurs in there, loppers in there, and this you just thread your belt through. It just hangs off your hip. These are again, just pop your belt through there. Secateurs, little pruning knife, secateurs, loppers, and then that just pops over your belt like that. So that is the entire kit. Any questions, put in the comments below. I'll try and put some links to the various tools if you want. But yeah, that is what I use. Good luck.